Man, where do I start? Um, Recently started trying to learn how to get good at chess online here and there, and I'm not very good. I'm atrocious. It's just it's actually funny. So I struggle with the same issue that I struggled with in like Madden or NCAA football, and that's like I'll play brilliantly, like really well read and good calls, good pattern, good like, and then I'll just lose focus for a second and like forget one thing, and I'm like, oh, and then something happens. So it's like I'd be, oh, I need to make this play, and then I make just one wrong read in Madden, and I'm like, oh, there it was. Like I called this play, and I just jumped the gun. Or in chess, I do the same thing. It's like it, like, oh, I just lose focus on the whole board, and I fixate. Like you gotta keep your eyes open on the whole board at the same time. Anyway, uh, Disclosure Day movie comes out this week. Fascinating. There also seems to be like almost a fever pitch of frothing and churning within the UFO YouTube community. Like there's just a lot of moving pieces happening all at once right now, and it's a little fascinating to watch. It feels like if they don't disclose something is going to be forced to be disclosed. And this Spielberg movie feels like maybe it has. I've said this a bunch of soft disclosure in it. And I've been thinking I should write a fantasy book, sci-fi book. We'll see though. I don't know that anybody would read what I wrote. Any hoodlums. Was listening to the Area 52 podcast, and an interesting concept came up. It was interviewing the guy, Luigi, who made the Bob Lazar movie. And something I found so fascinating uh, was this concept um, of this girl who was abducted and shown like a star child, essentially. It's like that she was a baby was made from her, and then another lady was like she said she's the reincarnation of the child of Mary Magdalene, and how do I connect all this together? So there's a lot of like random stuff rattling around in my head. I didn't think some of this like knowledge became much more mainstream after the Da Vinci Code, and how what I wanted to try to tie to. So, um, okay, claims to the royal bloodlines right to was laid actually in their bloodline. So that's like a lot. So it's a hereditary thing. It is by divine right, and many of like the European monarchies, but I think it was specifically the French, believe that they are their royal line is descended from Christ, like direct descendants, and that's why they have the right to, which is fascinating. I think like, oh, that's a really interesting way that they like, yeah, I should be king because We are descendants from the king, right? And even if you read the Bible, it was like the New Testament. That was one of the things on um, Jesus' lineage, as I understand it, was that he would had that time the Jews been uh, ruling themselves. There, that he would have been the rightful king on both sides of his family. Like basically, both sides would have laid claim, but he would have been like the monarch of Judah. Interesting. And how does this all tie to UFOs? Well, so Luigi is having all these conversations, and he said something, and like with these interviews with these people who were like, "Oh, like I've met my star child," and like then like she looks like this girl that's like painted on the wall in the Vatican, and I connect. I like to connect things that are probably not connected, but one warning is one group of supposed this is all other people's information. I'm just trying to regurgitate and connect some concepts and way like, oh, that's an interesting idea. But apparently there's a group of I think they're called the Nordics, and there's the tall grays. There seems to be some sort of council. But they've cautioned us against some of the grays, which is interesting. But a lot of the grays seem to be involved in this the kind of abduction and creating of these star children type things. But with Luigi's particular interview, it was like the lady was like, "Oh, I'm the reincarnation of daughter of Mary Magdalene," and I was thinking about that for a minute, and I've heard about this reincarnation concept, and based on my own belief structure, I'm not a believer in reincarnation. But one of the things I've been trying to be really good about is opening my aperture. Like, what if what I'm hearing, uh, I just need to open up my perception a little bit, like understand that, oh, this it's not exactly what I thought it was. Like the language being used to describe it isn't correct. And I was thinking about this whole concept of reincarnation of like, oh, you're reincarnated into the physical world or a new body and da 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 da. And I fixated during what was being talked about in this conversation by uh on the Area 52 podcast. And I was like, what if I was like, I don't really believe in reincarnation. But what if they're not reincarnated? What if they're cloned? And when I thought that, I went, oh, what if they're cloned? So like the physical body, like I'm a believer in like a spirit, a spark, and all of that. And I believe there's a very strong mind body connection and a bunch of details that direction. But so like, what if what if what people were perceiving, the concept they could understand from ancient times, or what some crystal people like, because that what their belief structure is like, very like Eastern, and like, what their understanding is reincarnation is actually a reincarnation of the flesh, not necessarily of the spark. What if it's cloning? And so like the physical body, the physical manifestation is being, you know, reincarnated or cloned. It's like, oh, that's an interesting idea. At least I think that's an interesting idea. I was like some sort of ancient person or something being cloned. All right, where does this matter? Well, I was thinking we've been warned about some of these craze, and I think aliens that are here, I think that's a mixed bag. I think there's good, there's bad, there's ugly. And I keep trying to like understand like what if the things in like the Bible aren't exactly as we think they are, or at least exactly as we've been taught um, in our Sunday schools. Like we've been taught very specific things. I'll jump to a different topic and I'll come back to it. So one of mine was like the Tower of Babel, right? They're trying to build a tower to God, and then there's an upset, and then the languages of the world get confused. Something's taken away from humanity at that point. And then there's like a kind of a we have to figure things out again. And forever, I've always been like how dumb do you have to? You can't build a tower to God. And then I was like, well, what if it wasn't a tower? What if it's an elevator? What if it's the blah, blah? And then once again, connecting things that are probably not connected. I was watching Skinwalker Ranch. Follow me along here. And they find the anomaly. So there seems to be this orb that reacts and prevents certain things from happening. But the Native American lore was like there was this tower to the other world there. And I was like, that's a fascinating concept. But then like the initial the place they start detecting this like weird interference is about 30 feet off the ground. And then I thought, well, hang on. Let's put this theory out. I love the show Stargate, right? This ring special alloy connects wormholes that you can dial up and then you can travel across the universe. Okay. Pretty easily operated once you understand what it is and what you're dialing, and then you're off to the races. What if the Tower of Babel wasn't an incredibly tall tower? What if it was simply a tower to one of these traversable wormholes? One of these, they were basically building a physical way to access this portal on a very regular basis. And I was like, oh, interesting. If wormholes are traversable and these people understood at some level that it was traversable, and who knows what level of technology they had, and then that's when everything goes a little bit haywire, that would be fascinating. So it wouldn't even have to be an incredibly tall, right, like stupid tower. Well, it could be like a pretty short tower, someplace between 50 and 100 feet. But you were accessing this portal. Basically, you were going to cause when the portal was opening, you were going to, and in the video, he fires an arrow he fires an arrow into the sky, like that was the representation, and that's when God gets mad. But what if it was they were trying to force their way through the portal to another place? And like maybe this is the realm of some other servants or some other species or something. And it wasn't time for that, or something was going on there. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting way that those things would possibly fit together. I'm not saying they do, but it was like accessing the power of God directly. Here's where I come back. What if a block of these aliens, and maybe some humans are even working with them, they've been tracking bloodlines, and they realize there is something special about a group of people. Right? We knew that it does seem like the CIA is trying to track a couple bloodlines because there seems to be higher psychic capacities within these particular families or their descendants. What if like some of these aliens basically have realized the importance, and maybe they don't believe, but they think they can harness through technology the power of God. Like, what if they're like, oh, if we harness and we clone or we reincarnate, we clone this particular individual, we could then wield the power of this family. I'm like, oh, I find that to be an intriguing conversation. Like, oh, cloning, it's not reincarnation, it's cloning, and they're trying to steal God's power, kind of like Tower of Babel type thing, but it's a different group and they have their, you know, and what they're pushing us to do is to try to do that. And they're starting with like a descendant that for some reason, like, I don't know. I was like, oh, that's fascinating. Could be a fun book or something. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just like proposing my own theory on something. But that's me also putting my own understanding out on something. But yeah, wild concepts. I think sometime this week we're gonna get. I don't know. I feel like it feels like once again the world is churning. Um, it's like you can sense it. Like I guess I often say this, and I maybe it's my own internal struggle with who and what I am and where I am and what I do and do not do, what I am and am not. Maybe I want to have very vivid, intense dreams that are connected to reality, predictive of things to come. But it's wild. Sorry, I'm zoning out. I'm just thinking a lot of thoughts, what to say and not to say. I had some interesting personal experiences. I always wondered. I always wondered how, like, reading the Bible said, like, Revelations and all that. I was like, I wonder how this happens. Now, I think the arrogance of anybody running for office or down office that thinks they can cause the second coming is super down, and it's going to cause more needless death that needs to happen. Um, but I would wonder, like, how does this even happen? Why would anybody care? And now I'm starting to see the groundwork be set. I'm like, I wonder if this is how it happens. Bunch of people that set us up for failure because it's all about them. I wonder if that's how it ends up happening. But boy, is it gonna be bad. There'll be a lot of good, but it's gonna get spicy, get rough. Anyway, that's my weird morning thoughts. Have a great day. Have a conversation. Be nice. Like, it's okay to disagree. Just like have different points of view, but like we just need to find more ways to like don't debate, have a conversation. Don't try to win uh, verbal sparring. Seek to understand each other. See ya.